Hi everyone. So in this video, again, I'm going to show you how to solve a quadratic equation by taking the square root. Okay, this is another way to solve quadratic equation. The first way I showed you in class was by factoring. So the second method I would like you to learn is by taking the square root. Okay, um, so let's follow the steps. Okay, so here are the steps in case you didn't have it before. So the first step here is to isolate the term with the square. Okay, or the x squared. Then step 2, you want to take the square root on both sides. Okay. Step 3, if applicable, rationalize the denominator. And I will show you what it means in case you forgot or you don't know. And then step 4, solve for the variable. Okay. So let's follow the example right here. So number 5 is I gave you 16x equal 9. So you want to isolate the term with the square. Okay, which is here x squared. So for x squared to be alone, you have to divide by 16 on both sides. So you end up with x squared equal to 9 over 16. And then the next step is steps 2. You have to now take the square root to undo the square. Okay, so let's take the square root on both sides. So when you take the square root, alert, 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 always include a minus and a positive. It's always true for even roots. Okay, so then you end up with x equal positive and minus square root of 9 over square root of 16. Okay, so let's continue. So 9 is a perfect square. So what number do we square it and you get 9? It's 3. Okay, and what is the square root of 16? What number do we square it? What whole number do we square and get 16? It's 4. So again, you have two solutions, which is going to be negative 3/4. I like to start with the negative value first, and then the positive. So from least to highest, 3/4. Okay. Then you have here number 6. So let me check your understanding. Let me give you another one. Okay. For number 6, let me give you 5x squared equal 80. Okay. Please go ahead and simplify. Please go ahead and solve this quadratic equation by taking the square root. Okay, so I did not explain, I believe I didn't explain why I root from one single square root, I end up with two square roots right here. So we can split the square root from 1 to 2 square root when when you're using the operation of division, okay, or multiplication, okay. You cannot split the square root if it was addition or subtraction. It only works because you are dividing for division and multiplication. Okay. And for example, number 6, as you can tell, we see that 5 goes into 18 6 times. Okay. And then you're able to simplify this ratio. Okay. And then you end up with x squared equals 16. And when you took the square root, we end up with two solutions, x equal -4 and x equal to 2. Okay. Okay, so the next equation I'm giving you is 4x squared equal positive 1. Okay, so how would you solve this quadratic equation? By taking the square root. Okay, please pause the video and do it by yourself. Okay, so I showed you, I followed the same steps as earlier. I isolate the term with the squared, x squared, by doing right here. So you want to isolate x squared. So we want to undo multiplication of 4, so we divide by 4. Okay, then we took the square root on both sides, and because I cannot simplify this, always leave it as a fraction. Do not turn it as a decimal. Okay, leave it as a fraction. So you end up with the plus minus square root of 1 over 4, and I split the two square root into the single square root into square root. Why? Because it's division. Okay, then I have another with square root of 1 over square root of 4, and square root of 4 simplified to 2, and square root of 1 simplified to 1. Okay, so let me give you another example for you to practice. Okay, so please solve this 2x squared equals 72 by taking the square root. Okay, please pause the video and do it on your own. Okay, so I was able to simplify to solve it by taking the square root. Again, you want to isolate the x squared, and x squared is being multiplied by 2, so we divide by 2 on both sides. Then we take the square root, and when you take the square root, always include the minus and the plus sign. And then we simplify the square root, and you end up with two solutions. Okay. So again, how do we solve quadratic equation by taking the square root? So let's go over the steps one more time. Okay, step one, isolate the term with the squared, or x squared, the term with the square or x squared, and then you want to take the square root on both sides. If applicable, rationalize the denominator, and step four, solve for the variable. The example that I've done so far, from 1 to 8, we don't need to rationalize the denominator yet. But in the next videos, or the one, so in the next video, I'm going to give you another one where you have to rationalize the denominator. Okay, so thank you for watching my video. Bye, have a nice day.